JingEr Duggar and Jeremy Vullo released another episode of their podcast. This time, the couple talked about their marriage, Felicity Vullo's ride home from the hospital after she was born, and more about their lives. Interestingly enough, the Counting On couple revealed that bringing Felicity home was complex. They even had to film them coming home after the couple had already arrived, due to how JingEr felt after the over 2-hour drive home. Behind-the-scenes talk isn't something JingEr and Jeremy do often. They moved to a more curated life following the cancellation of Counting On, and shared only what they wanted with their followers. Privacy is important to them, especially where their daughters are concerned. JingEr is expecting their third child, and followers are waiting for a gender reveal video. However, watching JingEr talk about her experience leaving the hospital after welcoming Felicity was interesting, especially given how she explained things. JingEr Duggar revealed that she avoids taking medication except for ibuprofen when needed. However, because JingEr and Jeremy Vullo welcomed Felicity in San Antonio, Texas, they had a long drive home to Laredo. The doctor advised JingEr to take something to be more comfortable. She thought it would be similar to ibuprofen. She said, "They gave me some serious, like hard, I was gonna say hard drugs. That wasn't the case though." The Counting On star felt sick when she got in the car, and her symptoms worsened as they drove home. They were so bad that she asked the camera crew to shut things down. JingEr continued, "I sat in the car with the AC blasting, and I was just so sick, and I felt shaky. I felt horrible. And to this day, I don't know what that medicine was they gave me, but I will never let them do that again." The Counting On couple touched on multiple topics during their podcast, including Josh Duggar and how his choices affected their marriage. Everything about the family was public, but when the 2015 scandal broke, they weren't even courting yet. They didn't begin to court until December 2015 and married in November 2016. They weathered the first scandal together, but the CSAM revelations and what happened with them were more taxing. Jeremy Vullo issued a statement condemning his brother-in-law, saying more than most of the siblings did. The couple's life has changed a lot over the last 8 years, and there will likely be more changes as they continue. JingEr Duggar doesn't like taking medication unless she absolutely has to. After she gave birth to her first child, daughter Felicity, in 2018, Duggar, 30, made an exception and took what she thought was something like ibuprofen so she could endure the 2.5-hour ride home from the hospital. It was not ibuprofen. Duggar doesn't know what it was, but she described it as feeling like hard drugs when she recounted the story on the JingEr and Jeremy podcast. "I wasn't thinking it was going to be anything more than ibuprofen. They gave me some serious, like hard, I was gonna say hard drugs," she said on the episode released Wednesday, November 20. Doctors gave her the medicine about 10 minutes before the couple left the hospital in San Antonio, headed back toward their home in Laredo, Texas. "They gave me something, and I don't remember what it was, but it made me so nauseous," she said. "I felt like I was going to vomit the second I got in the car." With the Counting On crew by her side for the trip home, Duggar needed to ask them to turn off the GoPro cameras they were using to document the ride. "I sat in the car with the AC blasting, and I was just so sick, and I felt shaky," she said. "I felt horrible. And to this day, I don't know what that medicine was they gave me, but I will never let them do that again." Duggar's sickness lasted the entire ride back to Laredo, putting the arrival home with the new baby into jeopardy for the crew. "They had to give me a little bit of time, and then they took another lap around the block once I was feeling a little bit better," she remembered. "They turned the GoPros on to make it look like I was pulling up into the house, even though I'd been there for a bit." For her husband, Jeremy Vullo, the trip was just as harrowing, albeit for a different reason. With Duggar out of commission, he was left to deal with the stress of driving a newborn baby home for the first time. "I was tense too. I was like 2 hands on the wheel. You've got his fragile little baby, who even in the car seat looks like a peanut," he said. "And so I was just looking at all these reckless drivers. I'd never been more conscious in my life. I was more conscious of the rules and regulations of driving than when I was taking my driver's test." Thankfully for both, Duggar said she learned her lesson. When she had daughter Evangeline in 2020, she said that after the epidural, she told the doctors only to give her ibuprofen. Jedidiah Duggar and his wife, Caitlin Nakatsu, are set to welcome twin girls in the coming weeks. They are the first Duggar couple to welcome multiples, and Jedidiah himself is a twin. Katey hit the 31-week mark and appears to be flourishing during this pregnancy. When they welcome their little girls, the couple will have 4 under 2. The Counting On couple welcomed Truett in May 2022 and Nora in May 2023, making the twins nearly 2 years younger than their big sister. They have remained quiet throughout Katey's pregnancy journey, only sharing a few bump dates, with the last one at 22 weeks. However, Jedidiah highlighted his wife's bump at 31 weeks, taking full advantage of her dressed up and wearing a bump-hugging gown. Jedidiah Duggar and Caitlin Nakatsu may not be updating their journey on the public Instagram. They are still getting together with family and enjoying life. Recently, Katey hung out with Abby Grace Burnett. The sisters-in-law hit the big Rialana sale that comes to their area every year, likely stocking up on clothing for their 6 kids combined. The couple traveled to Jason Duggar's wedding in Tennessee last month, as Jedidiah was one of the groomsmen. Katey was also caught hanging out with some of the sisters and sisters-in-law when they went to spend time with the Bates sisters. Things appear to be going well, and as the next couple of weeks fly by, we anticipate that Jedidiah and Katey are prepping more YouTube content to release as they gear up to welcome their twins. In the photo shared by Jedidiah Duggar, Caitlin Nakatsu is at 31 weeks. Twin pregnancies can be unpredictable, with complications that could arise and other circumstances that could factor in. If she goes to her due date and is 31 weeks this week, there would still be roughly 9 weeks left. However, many twin pregnancies hit between 38 and 39 weeks, so she could go earlier and welcome the girls sometime in early January, leaving less than 2 months before their arrival. The Duggar twins will likely make their grand entrance at the end of the year or very early in January. Baby watch has officially begun for Jedidiah and Katey, and we will keep our eyes peeled for hints of the girls' arrival. We suspect the birth story will be shared on YouTube, as the couple has worked to monetize their life since getting married. JingEr Duggar has opened up about why she declined to participate in an explosive new documentary series examining her reality TV family's ties to an ultra-conservative, widely criticized religious ministry. In an interview with People magazine published Monday, Duggar confirmed that she was approached and asked to appear in the Prime Video docuseries Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets, but opted to release her memoir, Becoming Free Indeed, instead. Duggar's third book details her experiences growing up in a fundamentalist Christian family with connections to the Institute in Basic Life Principles, a religious organization known for promoting the submission of women and girls under absolute male authority. She is the 6th child of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, whose family rose to prominence on the TLC reality series 19 Kids and Counting, and its short-lived spin-off Counting On, the latter of which excluded her brother Josh Duggar, who was convicted in 2021 on child pornography charges. I really wanted to make sure that I was able to share my story in my own words and in my own timing, Duggar 29, told People. That's why I wrote Becoming Free Indeed, to share more of my journey out of IBLP's teachings. I wanted to be able to share it in a way that was, like, God-honoring, and hopefully sharing my story in a balanced way. In her memoir, Duggar recalls how she was forced to obey modesty guidelines, submit completely to her parents and other authority figures, adhere to strict premarital protocols, and refrain from listening to certain kinds of music. I thought, I want this to be my story in a book form, because then whenever people are trying to work through this stuff, they can go back and highlight, and go, oh, she was struggling with this too. This is how JingEr kind of walked through it, Duggar said. The Duggar family has not only come under scrutiny for its fealty to the IBLP. 19 Kids and Counting was cancelled in 2015 after Josh Duggar was accused of molesting 4 of his younger sisters as a teen. In 2021, he was arrested on child pornography charges, convicted and sentenced in 2022 to 12.5 years in prison. One of Josh Duggar's sisters and alleged victims, Jill Dillard, formerly Jill Duggar, has spoken out about the abuse she allegedly suffered. The 32-year-old author claims in Shiny Happy People that she never received compensation for 19 Kids and Counting, or Counting On, even after she turned 18. Duggar no longer abides by her family's stringent religious customs and beliefs. She moved from Arkansas to Texas to Los Angeles after wedding pastor and former professional soccer player Jeremy in 2016. They share 2 daughters, Felicity, 4, and Evangeline, 2. Duggar told People she did not feel strong enough to talk about her experiences publicly until she thought about others in her community who grew up under similar circumstances. I thought, how can I best communicate this journey I've been on with not only the people that watch the show but, more importantly, those I grew up with, she added. In February, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar issued a statement saying they don't agree with everything the IBLP preaches, but have adopted some life-changing biblical principles from the institution that have helped deepen their relationship with God. In a social media post, Counting On star Jill Duggar revealed her biggest supporter amid the challenges she's been facing since announcing her book, Counting the Cost. According to Jill, her husband, Derek Dillard, is the biggest supporter of her latest journey. I'm so incredibly grateful for my man at Derek Dillard. His support means the world to me, Jill said. Apparently, Jill has been facing tons of controversy due to the contents of her book. She revealed that it will feature a lack of respect for boundaries, greed, manipulation, and betrayal of her family. However, many are not impressed, as fans think Jill is trying to destroy the image of her family, especially her parents, Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar. Aside from Derek Dillard, Counting On star Amy King has also been showing support for Jill Duggar since the announcement of Counting the Cost. It also appears that Amy is utilizing the recent trend of her cousin to expose the Duggar family even more. She even shared a clip of herself reacting to the Duggar family's comments regarding the latest documentary that paints them badly. Amy even called out Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar for gaslighting the fans. Anyone notice what seems like to me gaslighting? The private settings are what we are speaking up about. Shiny Happy People playing the victim, Amy captioned. The Duggar family has already released a statement regarding the latest documentary against them, Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets. They were clearly disappointed by the release of such a documentary. However, the conservative family revealed that they will continue to repair damaged relationships and strengthen their faith even more. Meanwhile, Counting On fans are curious if the Duggars will also release their comments regarding Jill Duggar's book, but some assume that they will wait for the book's contents before sharing their thoughts. Jill has already revealed that people can now pre-order her book. It was also listed to be released on January 16, 2024.